record on the computer. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello. This is Ignacy from Portal Games, and I'm already winning.
And this is the Podfather of Gaming, Stephen Bonacore. You are listening to Board Games Insider, episode 262. We are recording this on January 27th, 2023. Board Games Insider is a proud member of the Dice Tower Network, and I predict in 2023, Tom Vassell will publicly state that Stephen Bonacore is the Podfather of Gaming. Ignacy, why would I make a prediction like that right up front? Because today we are doing our annual predictions episode. Welcome to Board Games Insider Predictions 2023.
Dear listeners, it's no joke. This is very important for both of us. I already started mind games against Steven. I was trying to put him off. I was delaying putting in the show notes my predictions. I was doing my best to win this game before the game even starts, because I know sports. I know how to win matches before the match starts.
You might have gotten inside my head earlier, because you did, because we're 2 days late for recording this. Where you didn't put your predictions in until like literally 1 minute ago. He puts them in the show notes. I mean, it takes me days to think about these predictions. I prepare, Ignacy. I research. I consider all the possibilities. And you show up. You're like, okay, let's go. Not cool.
This is mind games. This is me trying to win this game using all resources and all talent I can have.
Very, very good. Well, 2023 predictions. For our new listeners, we've been doing an annual predictions episode every year since the beginning of the podcast, like 8 years ago. And we usually do this in mid to late January. First, we're going to review last year's predictions, the ones that Ignacy and I made in January 2022, and see how well we predicted the events of 2022 in the board game industry and generally in geek culture. Then we'll give you new predictions for 2023, and of course, do a review of these new predictions in January of 2024. Everybody get that? Sure. Here we go. Oh, of course, this is a game to Ignacy and I, so there is a scoring system to see who is the best predictor, or I'd like to say prognosticator, so that Ignacy doesn't understand the words that I'm using. Here is how the score...
I want to mention that I don't understand the scoring as well, so I don't understand anything here.
Scoring system was brilliant. We changed it last year, and it was brilliant.
It's terrible.
It's a brilliant idea. The last one didn't work because you just agree with everything. Now you get penalized if you're wrong heavily. So here's how the scoring system works. So you do not get points for your own predictions. You score points or lose points based on if you correctly agree or disagree with the other player's predictions. So if a prediction is right and the other person agrees with the prediction, they get 1 point. If they disagree with a correct prediction, they get -1 points. If the prediction is wrong, the other person agrees, the other person scores -1. And if they disagree with a wrong prediction, then they score +1. It's very simple, Ignacy. Don't.
It's very simple, and it's like I would not publish it as a game. Like this is so bad system. Like this is a game about predictions, and I don't score if I made a good prediction. How stupid is that? Who designed these rules?
So only if we had like a major important designer like that was a co-host of the show that could change things, then maybe we'd have a better prediction system and a scoring system. But, that person has not jumped up to help out whatsoever. Ergo, we stay with this system. So, all right, the bottom line is you only score on the other person's predictions. Getting something wrong is very painful. And generally, this will lead us to a more interesting and difficult predictions in the episodes. So let's go through a quick recap, or not so quick, of last year's winner. Last year, the 2021, it was Stephen +1, Ignacy +1. So it was a tie on last year's show. Ignacy did protest that the scoring system was not correct, that it wasn't good, but and under the old scoring system, he would have won. But that doesn't matter because every year I protest
and every year on better scoring system, I would win. But your
This is not
stupid
true.
system allows you to win.
This is not true. It was happened to be that last year, the change, which we all agreed to, the change, we tied. So we're going into this now again fresh with the same scoring system from last year, and we are going to see who has made the best predictions now from last year before we do new ones. So here we go. The 2022 predictions were we always go Steven, then Ignacy. So Steven, I said that a publisher will announce in 2022 that they will no longer print games in China, citing horrible political, social, and the human rights situation in China. Ignacy disagreed with that, and he was right. That did not happen in 2022. The world had other problems, a war in Europe, like miles away from the Polish border, that's going on. So the focus shifted off of manufacturing in China. Ignacy gets +1 point for that prediction. Congratulations, you're in the lead. Ignacy predicted that Savannah Park by Kiesling and Kramer and Capstone in the USA will be nominated for the Spiel des Jahres or Kenner Spiel des Jahres. Steven disagreed, and Steven was right. So Savannah Park didn't even show up. I didn't see it. I mean, I could be wrong because I didn't look at the Kenner, but I didn't see it in the nominations. I didn't see it in the recommendations. I didn't see it. Did you?
Yuri this year was wrong.
They
didn't recognize the brilliant game from Kiesling and Kramer. And yes, I was wrong. I still own the game. I still love the game. But indeed, it didn't make a big splash in German market.
Yep, very interesting. I have not seen people playing it either. So sadly, you were wrong. But I get the point. So at the end of question 1, it is Ignacy +1, Steven +1. 1-1. Next question, next prediction. Steven says, in 2022, one major US publisher will move exclusively from Kickstarter to GameFound via a press release or only running campaigns on GameFound and not on Kickstarter. Ignacy agreed with this, but this did not happen to my knowledge. I cannot find one major publisher that said, we're leaving Kickstarter and now we're only going to work on GameFound. And the reason probably that happened, right, was, and the next question is tied to this one, is that crowdfunding by BackerKit showed up and a lot of publishers fled over to that one over GameFound. So Ignacy, we're going to say that since you agreed, you're at -1 point for that.
First of many comments
okay.
today. So first of all, this prediction, in my opinion, is true, but it is very difficult to prove it because if the publisher says, well, we think GameFound is good, let's do work with GameFound, they will not make a press release about that. They will not make we decided that we want to work with GameFound right now and screw the Kickstarter. Like, this is not something that you send as a press release. So we saw many companies that left Kickstarter, and because we both know, I know better, you know it from the rumors in the industry, that GameFound has amazing service. So most likely this publisher will get back to the Kickstarter unless something changes in the Kickstarter very deeply. But there was indeed no press release about that. Yes, we are now with the GameFound because we love them. So once again, I believe that your prediction was right. I believe that I was right agreeing with you, but there was no press release. So now I am unfair penalty, -1 point. This system sucks.
Listen, would you like me to give you a +1 for this? I will. I mean, if you want a pity, we call that a pity point. Would you like a pity point here?
I would go with 0 points. Like, we cannot prove that. No. Like, there's no way to prove it. Like, of course, don't give me penalty, but don't give me a point.
It said via a press release or via only running campaigns. Now, if you can show me one company, major US publisher.
Oh, you have it here in a small font. I see right now. Okay. If you could, you tricked me. Oh my God! So you play.
Should we go back?
I see how you play right now.
Should we go back to the recording from last year where I said these exact words? I didn't change anything here.
You created a very obvious prediction, and then you put in the brackets a small disclaimer that changes everything,
which
and
I
you
read,
put me in a trap.
Which I read on the show.
We play hard this year. And okay, I see that.
You agreed to. So that's it. So you don't get the pity point. I'm done with you. So Ignacy, -1 for that. And here's his second question, prediction. I keep saying question. I know I'm using wrong English for Ignacy. By the end of 2022, GameFound.com will have at least 15% of the share of board game crowdfunding projects. And Steven said disagree. In fact, I said disagree strongly. Because, well, I didn't think it was going to happen. And of course, with crowdfunding by BackerKit, I'm pretty sure this didn't happen. I don't have hard facts. Do you have something to
I do have hard facts.
Awesome. I know you know Marcin very well,
yes,
the president of GameFound.
I reached them, and what I learned that they released a couple of days ago official press release about with the summary of 2022 for them. So it's like a very long press release. I guess we will discuss it in the next episode because lots of interesting facts here. So we will discuss it later. But for this prediction, the data they provided is they crowdfunding projects collected over $28 million on a GameFound. $28 million is most likely not 15% of the Kickstarter, because I checked, and the Kickstarter the previous year made $270. So they reached like 11, maybe 12% of the Kickstarter, not full 15. So if we play so literally, so what we write is a fact. You said you disagree strongly. I was not wrong strongly. I was wrong a tiny bit. So you're disagreeing strongly is a wrong disagreement.
I disagreed, and I was right. That's the important part. Steven gets +1 for this.
You put it now strongly in the brackets. This is embarrassing. Like, guys, we need to do a live stream of what's happening in the show notes. This is embarrassing.
Maybe we should have had that in, like, one of these boxes, because people on YouTube can watch us, of course, arguing about this. On the audio podcast, you cannot, but on YouTube, you can see this argument live. And the laughing going on.
I said 15%. They made about 12%. Steven says disagree strongly, and he gets a point. This is ridiculous.
No, that is not ridiculous, and this is the rules. So after 2 questions, because Ignacy lost a point and I gained a point, it is now Steven +2, Ignacy 0. Play by the rules. Prediction 3, at the end of 2022, there will be no more than 4 games released in 2021 that are in the BGG top 10. And I said in parentheses here, just so you knew where I was coming from, for comparison's sake, at the end of 21, there were 6 games released in 2020 that were in the top 100 ranked games on BGG. So I'm stating that 2021's games will not reach this level of ranking. You disagreed and thought that there would be more than 4, and you were right. There are exactly 5 games released in 2020 that are in BGG's top 100. So it was a relatively strong year for games. And not only that, of course, it shows that we are truly the cult of the new, right? Are 5 more games better than, 5 games? Because 5 games had to get pushed out, at least. Are they better than 5 games that were released in 2000 or in 1995? I bet not. It's just we are cult of the new, and there's so many people in the hobby, they rate the new ones, and the older ones fall out.
It's interesting that I didn't use the phrase disagree strongly. I used the phrase disagree. Like, I don't know if you see the difference between using these 2 different keywords, but let's move on. Yeah.
Great stuff. I spelled your name wrong here. Okay, we're going to keep going on here. And then you said, this is a great one. You said that Eric Lang left CMON over a year ago from the point that we recorded this. And so we will see at least 3 new games released by Eric Lang in 2022 that do not come from CMON. I disagreed, and I checked, and there's only one new game, Trudvang Legends, that was released by Eric Lang in 2022, and that actually was from CMON. So you were very wrong on this prediction.
From all the predictions I did last year, this one is the most disappointing. Our friend Eric is a slacker. I'm so disappointed with him. I know that he has so many games ready to publish.
Yep.
I know that he has so many things in the pipeline, and he didn't do it this past year. So he cost me a lot of points. That is 1 point. Yes, Eric is a lazy dude. Like, Eric, please publish these games.
I bet it's not due to laziness, but it's due to pipeline. And I bet that this prediction would actually work better this year. Because I think that he's gonna, I think that he's primed the pump, so to speak, and we're gonna see lots of stuff coming out of Eric Lang, published in 2023. So after 3 questions, we both got a point on that question. Is Stephen 3, Ignacy 1.
For all our listeners who are confused when Steven says question, him is prediction.
Predictions. Oh my God. I don't know why I keep saying that. It's too early in the morning here. I'm drinking my very large mug of coffee here. And Ignacy is choking on his tea. All right. Prediction 4. By the end of 2022, this is mine. This is from Stephen. We will see a merger with or acquisition of a noted hobby game company by another company in the physical game industry other than Asmodee. Ignacy agreed. However, we had IP acquisitions. We had distributor acquisitions. PhD bought Bliss over in the UK. We had distributors acquiring publishers, like Flat River Group bought some Canadian publishers. Acquisitions of conventions, right? The Nuremberg guys bought the Spiel, but not a publisher acquired by another publisher. Ignacy, if you can prove me wrong, let me know.
First of all, I guess it happened, but I don't have a strict data right now, so I'm not prepared to be right, to prove that you were right. And once again, I want just to state that this scoring system is so stupid. Steven made that prediction. He was wrong, and I get penalty. Like, what the hell is going on?
Maybe you should spend a few minutes redoing the scoring system, okay? So that you might have a chance of winning. So
that way, I would not be able to complain. So,
but you love to complain. So Ignacy, who agreed with this, gets -1 point. Ignacy's prediction number 4 is. And he said this was a terrible prediction. I mean, a one that he didn't want to predict. Just felt bad about predicting. The margins for retailers in the USA and in the EU are different. Asmodee will announce a decrease in the margin that is given to retailers. This can come from any way, distributors as well. And I disagreed because, it's hard to rock the boat, and Asmodee needs to keep good relation with retailers, especially since they are the distributor now, of course, in everywhere, including the US. And no announcement was made to decrease retailer margins.
I'm calling my lawyer because I have a different opinion. So
do you really? Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Did you see one? Okay.
I need a lawyer to help me with that. So what Asmodee North America announced at the end of the year, you remember it was November or December, they changed the rules for the stores for the free shipping. So technically it is not changing the margin in terms of the press release, but in terms of the numbers, as you know, this is changing the rules how you order the games. To order the games, the free shipping, you have to order more. So basically, they are tweaking the system. So technically, indeed, they didn't change the margin like per se, but they are tweaking the relationship. They want to have more of the money on their side. So I'm calling my lawyer. Please defend me in this situation. I need this point because it's very important for me.
We're gonna go with that, Ignacy. See, I'm a very fair person, and if you say that should count, I'm gonna say that should count, especially since I'm ahead by so much. So
I appreciate you, but so we are reading it as a intent of the prediction, like the Asmodee will change a little bit of the rules of the cooperation of the stores to get more money on their side instead of the stores.
That sounds good. So I'm going to say that, of course, I had said I disagree. We're going to say Ignacy was right. No announcement was made, but I write this down for posterity. But Asmodee did change shipping terms. So I was wrong. Steven gets -1 point. Current score is Steven +2. Ignacy 0.
Is it possible in this scoring system that we end up with having 0-0 result?
Of course there is.
Or even we can even have minus points, right?
We can all, yes. Negative points are absolutely possible. Why shouldn't they be? Spend 10 minutes, create a new system. Stop choking on your tea. All right, number 5, the 5th and final prediction. And this one we always do a funny thing, and it was very interesting what happened here. And I made the prediction that, and this one is near and dear to Ignacy's heart, the World Cup 2022 will be won by either Belgium, Brazil, France, England, or Argentina. Ignacy, he struggled. He was like, wow, how does Bonacore even know about the football, soccer, as we call it? How could it? And he agreed with me. And he was right, because Argentina did win the World Cup. So congratulations, Ignacy. You bowed to my great predictions.
Yes, I get the point. I want to thank, like it is acceptance speech. I want to thank all the players who play football in Polish national team, because they played so terribly in this tournament and they lost to the Argentina after terrible performance. And that's why Argentina qualified later. And finally, they won the World Cup. So our embarrassing, pathetic football players made it happen. So I appreciate them. I appreciate them.
Excellent. And then Ignacy's final prediction
Gamma
here,
news.
because he had a dig on Gamma a little bit. He said a Gamma news item will come out that has the Podfather of gaming taking on an official position within Gamma. And of course, as everybody knows, Bonacore remains independent and retired and refused to take any positions, even though I will admit, people have come to me and said, you should run. You should do something. Help us. Thank you. I appreciate
you wanted to win this prediction so much that you refused the job at Gamma? Are you crazy?
That is absolutely not the case, that I refused the job at Gamma. I never even considered it. So that doesn't even count as refusing it. So that was Ignacy's silly prediction for the year. And I disagreed. Steven gets the point. Final score for the year of 2022's predictions, Steven 3, Ignacy 1, and Ignacy, sorry, but you've lost again. You've only won once in the 8 years we've been doing this. I want you to know that.
Yeah, you are changing the system. I cannot catch up. You are putting some traps on me with different predictions. Like this, I need to learn this game. Every year something is changing. I will win at some point. Not this year, maybe next year. Congratulations. You are master predictor for the next year. I need to admit it.
Would you like to have a meeting where we change the rules? I will take any rules that you decide should be part of this. Would you like to do that?
I think that we need to invite somebody that is not involved in the contest. Like we need to ask Eric Lang or Bruno Catala or some other designer to design a system for us. So there is neutral and nobody has the advantage over the system.
I'm okay with you designing. I don't see how there's an advantage here, but okay. All right, so I won the predictions for last year, 3-1. Let's move on to the big part of the show is, what are we predicting for next year? right? So these are the 2023 predictions that we will figure out who's right or wrong almost exactly 1 year from today. So Steven's first prediction is Frosthaven, right? Heavily anticipated, did 17, 14 million dollars on Kickstarter. Crazy number. I said that Frosthaven will not be in the top 10 games on BGG by the end of 2023. And as a bonus, but this doesn't count. This doesn't count. It says it right in the show notes. I said Gloomhaven will be knocked out of the #1 spot. Ignacy, what do you think? Do you think that is true or that is false?
First of all, I need to tell you this is a good prediction. This is interesting. This is interesting stuff. So kudos. Because
we should have a separate scoring, like how many times you or I say, "Oh, that's a good one."
So indeed, for these games like the big Kickstarters, when they deliver the game, people are crazy. They are giving very high notes because they're excited, 10, 9, and the game goes up in the ranking. We saw it many times. Will Frosthaven repeat this process? On the one hand, I'm pretty confident that yes, but knowing what's happening in China, knowing what's happening with the logistics, knowing what's happening with all the things there, are you 100% sure that they will deliver this year?
Oh, so I mean that's important to point out too for listeners and for you. They have started delivering already. They have started delivering. Okay. I backed it. I did not get mine, but like there are people who out there who have the game right now. So I don't know if one container, because this is like, you know, this the size of this thing is crazy. You only fit, I don't know, a few hundred in a container versus 8,000, 7,000 in a container. You probably get in the area of 1,000, 1,200 units. That's going to be, it's the guess, something like that. So when they have to deliver 25,000 units or something like that, it's going to take forever. So it is delivering. My prediction is based, as I'm going to be, you know, cards on the table. My prediction is based on the fact that they're not going to deliver enough, that it's going to get this thing into the top 10. And by the way, I played it. It's brilliant. It's even more brilliant than Gloomhaven. I mean, they're very similar. They're the same system, but they've made tweaks. And of course, the storyline is bigger and great. So Ignacy is typing. Ignacy, what is your prediction? What is your prediction?
For the sake and the fun of the show, maybe that's why I'm losing so much in this prediction, but I will disagree with you. Let us believe that the hype train, the craziness will make this game reach top 10. It is harder and harder each year because there's more and more these amazing games in the database. But Gloomhaven, it was so easy for this game to reach. So maybe Frosthaven can do it. So I disagree with Steven. So I think that Steven just made me make my prediction that this Frosthaven will be in the top 10 games on Board Game Geek.
There you go. So Ignacy, you predicted, and I rewrote the English here, that there will be at least 10 news items with regard to Wizards of the Coast. Now, of course, I need a slight clarification on that. That would not include, he just changed it.
I'm just
as I'm looking at it,
I'm raising the stakes, sir.
He's like, you know, it's like a poker game. He's like,
exactly.
He just raised it by 5. So you're saying 15 news items. Now, do you mean different, like completely different topics? Like right now, we have talked about the OGL extensively, and we in our show notes for next episode, we have 5 more articles specifically 4 more, let's say, specifically about people's opinions and what WotC's come back as an official response to their OGL. So if we're saying completely different things.
I'm saying D&D drama mostly, that it will be lasting for the whole year, that every episode we are discussing what's happening. This is press release, this is comment, this Paizo is doing in regard to Wizards of the Coast. So I'm believing that this drama will not end up in February, not will end up in March. I believe it will be for the long whole year.
So okay, so this
but I like the poker thing. So
This oh my gosh, he's going up higher, it looks like. So this includes does it include, like, let's say if we put like four articles in the same episode? No, we're saying that we'll talk about it like once in an episode, right? That counts as one, even though we might have cited 4 articles with different things, right? That's
yes.
fair.
If there is a press release from Wizards of the Coast, and then there is response from this component, this component, this component,
Right.
it's still one use because it was one item happened. Yes.
Right. This means it will be X number of episodes of episodes of
That's a good idea.
issues
Yes.
with Wizards of the Coast.
So make it even simpler so we can find it. I say there will be at least 25 episodes of Board Games Insider.
25, you're saying?
Yes.
You didn't write it in there. I'm going to write it in there for you. There'll be at least 25 episodes
of Board Game Insider in which we discuss Wizards of the Coast / Hasbro problems.
Wizards of the Coast and or Hasbro problems.
Yeah,
problems is also a key word.
No.
It's just news articles, news items.
Yes, yeah.
Right,
and of course, in my mind, I have Dungeons and Dragons / Magic the Gathering of overproducing a drama.
All right, I'm 25 episodes. That's a heck of a lot. Since we only do, all right. I'm gonna say I disagree, but I would have been all in on 10. I would have been all in on 15. 25 is a lot. so
I like this poker style.
Yeah. It's this is not going away for them, and I mean, I made the correlation last episode. I said new Coke. You didn't understand because in the 80s you had Russian tanks in the streets, very sadly. But Coke changed their formula, and there was a outcry of consumers saying, "Screw you! I'm not drinking this stuff. I want the old Coke." So they had to revert back, and then they created a new product called New Coke. So they had 2 things, and then they got rid of New Coke because nobody wanted New Coke. They wanted the old formula. It was very interesting. So I'm going to disagree, but yeah, I think this is going on. This is not going to go away anytime soon. This is going to be, we will be talking about this at least into the second quarter, and let's see how many episodes that we talk about it. All right. Stevens, that was a long first prediction for 23. Stevens' second prediction for 2023. The CEO / president of a major hobby game publisher will announce their retirement in 2023. And then in parentheses, I just say, joining the Podfather of gaming in bliss. So
I believe it is a beautiful prediction. I believe there's a lot of people who would love to join you. Just traveling and meeting with the fans and friends and enjoying their life. But we are all so busy in the industry, and the industry is now in such a difficult moment that we need to take care of the business. So I disagree with you. I don't see anyone taking a retirement moment in 2023 from the big company. So yes, I will disagree with you. So far, 3 predictions, 3 disagreements. Like
that's
we
right.
cannot find a common ground here today.
Well, I think that's why this is so good. All right, let's see. So Ignacy, you said for prediction 2, there will be at least 10 uses of AI, artificial intelligence, in the tabletop gaming industry. Can you just explain a little bit more on that? Yes. Because this is a great one. I mean, by the way, it's so funny that you put this, and I told everybody, this guy, he put it there 1 minute before the show started. He put all his predictions in. And guess what I did yesterday? I interfaced with ChatGPT. Do you know what that is? Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Anybody can go onto openai.com, sign in, you create an account, and then you're enabled to use an AI that you can just ask questions to, and you can tell it to write a paper for you. It's unbelievable. I tried to stump it yesterday. I said, like, I don't want to say what I said because we get into a whole long argument, but I said, like, I gotta do something that it can't really answer. It gave me The single best answer to the question that I've ever heard in my life. That's how good this stupid thing is. It's intelligent. It's artificial intelligence. OpenAI.com. Check this out, guys. It's kind of scary. It's like Skynet may be happening. So explain what you mean.
Yeah, so I'm using this AI for some time right now, from the moment that it was made public, and there is this year we see like a absolute explosion of different AIs that help work. There are AIs who write, there are AIs who draw pictures, there are AIs who make a video editing, there are AIs that make a voice acting. Lots of things happening right now in the AI genre. So I say that at the end of the year, or in the next year, I will give 10 examples of companies who used AI for business in tabletop industry. What's the idea? Either we have the company that went to the Kickstarter and the artwork for the game was done by AI, or we see the company that made additional stories for the game, for the lore, written by AI, or we see the company that uses AI to translate the products, or we see the company that creates the trailers with AI. So I will be able to give 10 examples of the companies who are using AI in their business.
That's amazing. It's a great prediction. You're selling me on it that I should say yes, but I'm gonna.
From my experience, my predictions are always 1 or 2 years too early. So you safe.
I'm gonna disagree, but I think this is a wild one, Ignacy. That you'll give 10 examples of companies using AI to do the work for them, in the company, right? That's what you mean, right?
I'm not saying that I will give 10 different companies, because it may be that the one company
Sure.
is but 3 things that when you were working in the industry, you were hiring copywriters, or you were hiring illustrators, you were hiring somebody, and now just AI does it for free for you.
Amazing. Yep. I will disagree, but I almost want to see that this is true, because it's so wild and science fiction like.
Yep.
Prediction number 3 from Steven. Ignacy, this is big. This is huge. Gen Con 2023 attendance will be 10% higher than Gen Con 2019, which of course was the highest ever pre-pandemic. And please note, and I put this in here specifically for Ignacy to know, and it's in our show notes for like the next episode, probably 2 episodes from now, because we have so much backlog. Gen Con has dropped all mask and vaccine requirements for 2023, which I believe is going to encourage a lot more people. A lot of people stayed away because they can't take it. I guess they don't want the mask on the whole time. The masks, not the vaccine. Most people who are enlightened have gotten vaccinated, but a lot of people are like, I can't be in a convention area for 24/7 with a mask on. So you're disagreeing, I see, Ignacy. What is going on? You don't believe that Gen Con is going to have record numbers?
Yeah, we see it was growing year after year, and then the COVID happened, and we see that they were not sold out the last year. They were not sold 2 years ago. They were masked. You are absolutely right. There was so many people who said, "I'm not coming with masks for the convention." But to catch up to the record years of 2019 and then even beat the record, I'm skeptic, but I'm not. This is not disagree strongly. This is disagree just for the sake of disagreement. This is like a mighty disagreement. But so
minor disagreement.
I wish Gen Con grows. I wish them the best. But for the sake of this contest, let me disagree.
Should I? If I would have said 5%, would you have agreed then?
Then I would agree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because if it was very close to the 2019.
And the funny thing is, Gen Con doesn't actually give numbers. However, I know a guy. So I know this guy, and he or she might tell me a little bit about, how many more or less people. So it's going to be a significantly large number at 10%. So let's see how it goes. I know I'm going. Hopefully you'll be there. It should be a great show.
My next prediction is about Asmodee using even in a more deeply IPs they own to just take the games they have, like Pandemic, like Catan, all these Ticket to Rides, and paste a IP they own and just reprint it. This is what they are doing for years right now, but they have more IPs. We reported and they bought Dark Horse, yes, the comic books. They have now the whole IP for Lord of the Rings, obviously. So I'm saying that there will be 10 big releases from Asmodee. There are games that we already know, that the games we played in different versions, but now they are Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or you name it. Like they have now all the IPs except Witcher. This is my, I think, very, very not controversial prediction.
Yes, and that is not controversial at all because that is the
policy, right? The strategy.
That's the way, to go. Now, Asmodee is releasing hundreds, thousands, not maybe 1,000 new games without that are brand new and are not part of an old system. But certainly, many companies are doing exactly what you're saying, and I like this prediction a lot. I rewrote it to there will be at least 10 game releases in 2023, right? Of course, we're saying, released in 2023. Everything is that of an older Asmodee game using a new IP that was previously not used for that game. And I will agree. I will agree with that.
First agreement today.
The first time that we're in agreement. All right. Question number 4 from Steven. And this is another one of those, like, I'm really greatly looking forward to this kind of thing happening and being embraced by the industry, and when you don't even have to make predictions like this. This is just a normal thing. And my prediction here is a major or / important game will be designed by someone, so it'll be of note. It'll come out. It'll be a very important game, designed by someone from an underrepresented group, such as a woman, a person of color, an LGBTQ plus person, and released by a publisher, of course, in 2023. Ignacy?
I just want to be precise that, for instance, we are talking about a new design. Like we are not counting Eric Lang as a person of color or Elizabeth Redgrave as a woman because she's famous designer. We are talking about somebody new designer who will make a hit, and this new designer will be someone from underrepresented group.
Yeah, by a new designer, a new designer. We're going to say someone is not known in the industry, that is part of one of the an underrepresented group. Obviously, Eric Lang is as a person of color, and he is a genius and a phenomenal designer, and he's got hundreds maybe of games designed. Elizabeth Hargrave has in the top 3 games maybe in the industry, right? Wingspan is probably approaching the Ticket to Ride, Catan level of sales. It's that big. So yes, it would be somebody new in one of those groups.
I will agree. Just like wish. I wish it happens. I want it to happen. So I want to agree with you. So there is so many new people in the industry, so many new talent coming. The games are going to new groups of people. So it may happen. It may happen, and let's do it all together, guys.
Okay. So, Ignacy, you're going to have to read this one because I do not understand exactly what you mean here for your prediction, number 4.
So I will explain, and then you will rewrite it. This year, Disney and Ravensburger are releasing the card game called Lorcana. It will be a huge hit because it's a Disney, because it's a Ravensburger, because it's a new CCG that needs to compete with Magic the Gathering. My prediction is not only that Watch It Played will do a video for that. I have no knowledge about that. This is my prediction, that they will do a video for this game tutorial. But my prediction is that this game will be so popular and his video will be so amazing that it will get at least 100,000 views of people who will want to learn how to play Lorcana from Rodney Smith.
Wow.
And this is the second time I'm putting predictions on Watch It Played. Last time I lost points because he didn't surpass Tom Vassell in a subscribers list. So now, Rodney, please get the contract with Ravensburger, make a video, and get 100,000 views. I need this.
How, I mean, you have me at a slight disadvantage here, of course, because I don't know. Has he ever had 100,000 views on one of his videos? I don't know that. Rodney is the biggest, of course.
It's rare, but it happens. Yes, it will be like in one of his top videos.
So I'm going to say that I disagree to this only because it sounds like that's a huge number. We don't know if he has the contract to do it.
That's true.
So there's a lot of ifs in there to make this happen. But is the game as good as you're saying?
It is not yet released. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I mean, I haven't really. I mean, I know of it. I've heard of it.
Yes, they are releasing it in August for Gen Con, and so we will know in a couple of months.
Very, very interesting. I mean, you know what? I'm going to disagree, but I hope it happens because I love Rodney. I love Rodney like a brother, and he makes money doing this. So I hope he gets 100,000 views on this video, assuming he gets the contract. So good luck to Rodney, the game, Ravensburger, and good luck to you because I just disagree. Okay, so the final one, we always do the last prediction is a funny, silly, probably not game-related prediction. And my prediction is that Ignacy will visit the home of the Podfather of Gaming in South Florida in 2023.
This is a trap. This is a trap.
This is such a trap, and I'll tell you why in a second after you answer it. Then go ahead. Well, of course you're invited, right? We know that. I've said that 100 times that you're always invited to my home and to spend time and to stay anytime.
There is not a good answer for this question. Like this, I can lose points so easily here.
Yes, you can.
I'm looking in my calendar and my plans for visiting America. I'm thinking about the Dice Tower Con, which I'm considering this year. And if I'm at the Dice Tower Con, it is very close to you, right? From the Dice Tower Con, or it is far away?
I'm 2.5 hours from Orlando. It's a 2.5 hour drive, especially in a Corvette. What do you think?
I don't know, man. This is really hard. I will disagree, and I hope I'm wrong.
Well, that's very, very, very nice way of putting it. And immediately I'll be in touch with Mary to ensure that I'm going to tell her, I'm going to send her brochures of things to do in South Florida. And I'm going to tell her, you got to come down and you can bring the kids. So I'm going to make this happen because you know what? I have an insider that handles your schedule. I waited to say that.
That is true.
I can influence this one.
I knew it's a trap.
This is another trap. It's a trap. All right, what do you have here?
My prediction is that because I'm getting older, I'm going in your footsteps. So I want to become a new podfather of gaming, and I want to learn from the best. So I decided this year I will try to be like you used to be back then as a publisher, and I will try to get to at least 10 different podcasts to give interviews and start my new career of being the small new podfather of gaming. So I'm announcing that I will try to do 10 podcast appearances in 2022, 23.
2023.
Do you think people will want to interview me in podcasts?
All right. So this one is the easiest one of all. I mean, this one's easier than the one that I just did. You will absolutely be on 10 podcasts. You will absolutely make and be on 10 podcasts. And of course, we're talking about not this one, silly.
Yeah. As a guest of the other podcast, yes.
But and not, not one that you are involved with because you do your own videos and stuff. So it'll be the guest, and it could be rolling dice and taking names, for instance, because that's a podcast. You sponsor them, so that's an obvious one that you can get onto anytime. But I think this is going to be, you're going to do this. I would almost say you're going to do this before the middle of the year. Yes, I think you'll make a big, because you, like me, we're publicity hounds, I guess you can say. We like to be out there, but not only for self-serving purposes. Maybe now it is for me a little bit, but it's because we love this industry so much and we want to promote the industry. In your case, you want to promote the new games and the company. So 100%, you will make at least 10 appearances on podcasts. That includes videos, of course, video podcasts, whatever you call those, YouTube. I would say YouTube / podcasts. So you will make those appearances. I agree with this. Very good, Ignacy. So you know what? This was a great amount of questions, really wonderful questions.
Predictions.
Predictions. I don't know why I say questions. Sorry. People will be talking about these for the entire year and posting about these, but we won't be able to figure out who has won this prediction episode for one full year. So in the meantime, we have to get to a very big announcement that happens at the end of final scoring. Thank you so much for listening. Help us spread the word about this podcast by telling your friends to download Board Games Insider wherever they like to get their podcasts. Or you can now watch Board Games Insider on the Podfather Gaming YouTube channel. Do you want to be part of this podcast? You can. Just ask us questions for our strategy and tactics segment by posting them in the correct thread in our guild on Board Game Geek, and also answer our question to you from our play testing segment, which will come back next episode, also by going to our guild on Board Game Geek and looking for the thread with this episode's question. Check out our websites, which are portalgamesus.com, podfathergaming.com, and we are all over social media, so please interact with us on Facebook. Please like our pages, which are /BoardGamesInsider, /PortalGamesUS, and /PodfatherGaming. You can speak directly to Ignacy and Steven, basically and mostly on Twitter and Instagram @PortalGamesUS and @PodfatherGaming, and the very active YouTube channels are Portal Games Movies, Portal Games Gameplays, and the Podfather Gaming. Watch Ignacy as well on TikTok, Portal Games US. We would really love to see you in person at an upcoming convention in 2023. So if you do see us there, if you come, see us, come, hang out with us, chat with us, talk to us. We want to be part of your gaming life. Board Games Insider is professionally edited by Joshua Bowman, from Tabletop Submarine Podcast. If you want your podcast edited by Joshua, you can reach him to discuss at tabletopsubmarine@gmail.com. Also, that great voice you hear during the intro, outro, and in between segments is that of Ray Greenlee. He can be contacted to do voiceover work at raygreenleevoiceover.com. Ignacy, I don't know if you saw what I wrote here as the major announcement
on social media, obviously.
I don't know if you saw it on social media either, but it sounds like you did. But everybody out there who's maybe not as out there on social media, remember those meetings that I was having, industry meetings over the last year? Remember that it was with a certain 800-pound gorilla publisher? Remember I said in the end that it was with Asmodee? Remember that? Well, Jeff Engelstein, noted great designer, and I have co-designed a game. We have signed that game with Asmodee. It is currently with their Office Dog Studio, which, as we reported here, and I interviewed this head of the studio, Luke Peterschmidt, that studio is within Asmodee looking for outside external game designers with the goal of utilizing existing catalog of IP that Embracer Group owns, which is a parent company of Asmodee, and it's this very extensive, huge catalog. So, Ignacy, I am head over heels excited about this. Of course, the game's not going to come out anytime soon, and I can't talk about anything about the game whatsoever. But this is a very exciting moment for me, having done publishing, and retiring and selling that. Having my game now as a published game with the biggest publisher in the industry, it's very, very, very exciting. So,
congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And now this is podcast by two great designers.
I will not say that I'm a great designer. Let's have the game come out and have the public tell me how much crap it is, or Tom Vassell completely pan the game, which I know is going to happen, which I'm almost expecting and like to have, because I just can say more hashtag Tom Vassell doesn't like fun, as I have in the past. So, and I am still retired, for the record. Still retired, because you can design games on the beach, which is kind of what I'm doing here. So I'm just still retired, relaxing. And occasionally I'm like, yeah, maybe I should tweak that thing while I'm watching CNBC or CNN or things like that.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. All right, right. Thank you again for listening or watching. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.